I had originally gone out to the garage to clean out the garage. I had this truck in there to melt all the snow off because I wanted to get working on it. And then my brain was like, ADHD movement, let's go start doing this. At least I threw my phone on to start recording, but I did not have my microphone with me. So there's not a whole heck of a lot of me talking in this video. So a lot of this is going to be voiceover, as well as some of my webcam footage. So is what it is. But this is how to put an F-150 that you bought that may have originally been a plow truck that doesn't have the bumper on back to stock, and then we're going to fabricate up some light bar mounts because I want to keep the light bars on it. Let's get into it. Our first steps here. Now, I took the light bars off and I took the metal off because I'm going to use that metal to fabricate the mounts. But basically, disconnect the electrical connections. Start with your ground because there are more grounds on the truck than there are positive points. So disconnect the ground, disconnect the power for the plow mounts, and then use a jack. Don't try to be Superman. These things are heavy. Use a jack. Unbolt them. They're usually 3 to 4 bolts per side. And the whole thing is going to try to flip forward, so just be prepared for that. Set up something to catch it. I used my jack. It still ended up rolling forwards. It's fine. They're pretty heavy duty. They're meant to hit snowbanks. You're going to be okay. Okay, guys, so when you are trying to line your bumper up, grab a measuring tape, line one side up, tighten it down, go bring the other side up to where you want the panel gap, tighten it down, go back, double check the first side, and then double check the second side. And you're going to have to keep doing that until you get it even. It is a giant pain in the butt, but set it to what you want it. There isn't really any right or wrong answer. It's just whatever works for you. Now, there are 3 holes in the bumper right below where the license plate hole is, that originally that rubber thing kind of swoops up and the tree clips go into. I didn't put the rubber piece back up. If you're going to put the rubber piece back up, just take the tree clips out, use the bolts instead to go straight through to hold up the rubber, and you can literally just mount your light bars into those holes. That's what I did here. I did need to enlarge the ones that I was using because they're just too small for the bolts that I had. Now, the pieces of metal that I had taken off of my plow mount were at 45-degree angles each, whatever. Super thick metal, so I wasn't going to really try to bend them more, but it worked out perfectly. 45 degrees is perfect. If you aren't taking apart the plow mount to reuse the metal, just go get some bar stock. If you're in Canada, go to Canadian Tire. It's super cheap at Canadian Tire. If you're in the States, I have no idea where you would get bar stock, but essentially just, stuff that's about an inch wide is fine. That way you don't have to enlarge the holes in the bumper, but then you're going to have to drill holes into the bar stock, so I would advise getting mild steel instead of carbon hardening steel, because the stuff that I use for bar stock is high carbon steel, and when you're drilling into it and then you cool it off with some oil, it tends to harden the steel, which makes it very difficult to drill into. Anyway, 45 degrees with a little bit of bar stock, you'll have the exact same setup as what I have here. Okay, here, very simple. If you're going to be mounting 2 light bars, just put a straight piece of bar stock from the mount that you already made. So just wherever it's bolting in, you have the L brackets for your bottom light bar. Stick a piece of straight bar going up on both sides. drill a hole at the bottom. Mine already had a hole drilled at the bottom. And then what you're going to do is you are going to take your light bar that you want to put above it, and you're going to just kind of hold it in place and bring one of the bars relatively where you want it. It's not going to be exact, but as long as you drill your second hole where you mark that and make sure that both sides are even, you're going to be pretty close to the spacing in between there, and you're going to be able to get this to be level side to side. So I'm going to jump forward a little bit. I actually recorded it on a different day, so the lighting and everything is going to be different. Plus, I used a different camera. I actually used my proper video recording camera rather than my phone. But these are the extra little brackets that I made just to give it a little bit of extra support so that it's not all wobbly and wonky. So I already had the brackets from the light bars installed in that bumper because my 32-inch light bar had originally been installed on this bumper. If you don't have light bar mounts already installed, just take a set of light bar mounts. You're going to have them anyway. Line it up to where you want it for supports and just drill straight through your bumper and put a bolt through it. And that's it. Okay, a little difficult to see there, but basically what I did is I made two L brackets, just drilled a hole. It's bar stock, you can bend it with your hands, but stick it in a vise, heat it up a little bit, and hammer it over. Bolt it into the mount on your bumper, and then mark where you want to cut it. Essentially, you just want it so that it's not sticking out past the bar stock that you already have. Cut it. And if you don't have a welder, drill another hole, drill a hole through your straight bar, and either bolt it together or weld it on. I welded it on because I personally like welding. That's pretty much it. Anyways, after that, I found a little bit of a wiring issue, so let's go over that. Okay, so essentially what happened there, the negative wire had pulled out of the actual relay clippy thing, socket, I guess you would call it. But I had none of the, oh, what are they called? Spade bits to recrimp it. And they shove like 4 negative wires into that. That is your return for your switch. It's the negative going to the battery. It is the negative going to the light bar. And then there was like a 4th one. So it was weird. The way I fixed it, not really proper. I just butt connected 2 of them together, then I butt connected another 2 of them together, and then I butt connected another 2 of them together, and then I balled up a little ball of wire, shoved it in there, folded it over itself a bunch of times, and taped it together. Because I could not recrimp on another thingy. Brain no want word right now, apparently. But I also ended up cutting out the connector for the light bar itself because it was all corroded and stuff. So I need to get a new Deutsch connector for that light bar. It'll happen down the road. I'm not too worried about it. But that is how I had to fix the wiring. And I was having issues where my light bar would turn off and then I would hit a bump and it would come back on. And like, it was arcing. It was all burnt in there. It was not a good situation. So definitely glad that I got that fixed. I did get to test it out since I recorded this and it works great now. Of course, my 50-inch ended up burning out anyway. So luckily a friend of mine has the exact same light bar and that he's not using anymore because he got rid of the truck but took the light bar off. So I'm just going to buy the exact same light bar and go and toss it on, is what it is. But anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. The bumper, I kind of didn't really explain that well about taking it off. It's literally just the 4 bolts on the bumper. You just slide it onto the end of the horns and it's 4 nuts that go on it. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. That being said, you do have to slide a little piece over the end of your frame rail. So you have to kind of go from one side, slide that little bar over it so that the end of the frame rail is on the inside of it, and then bring it all the way over, push it back, and then center it. So if you're having issues with that, you really got to finagle it. I mean, there's tons of room back there to look around, and then just ram-a-dam that bumper on. Anyways, guys, I love y'all. Y'all beautiful. Hope you had a great day. Couple of channel updates. We have gone over 60 subscribers, which is awesome. We doubled our subscribers, over doubled our subscribers last month, so I really appreciate the support you guys are giving me. I have a big project coming up next spring that I'm really hoping that I can get a good follower base for, because it's something that's really close to my heart, something really close to a really good friend of mine's heart, and I want to share the story, and I want to share the experience that essentially we're going to be doing with this truck. I do have a couple of electronics videos coming up as well. Obviously, I have been focusing a little more on the automotive content, but that's just because I have a lot of vehicles that I need to fix right now. I built another plow truck, so we're going to be posting a video about how I did that, as well as I had a whole mishap with the 4x4 and the blower motor on this black truck, so that'll be coming out as well. I have a couple of emulation machines that I'm currently working on building. I have a ton of controllers that I still need to get to reviewing. And I think I have 2 other tablets that I still need to do reviews on. So lots of content coming. Of course, if you're interested in that, subscribe, like, leave a comment. If you have anything that you want me to cover how to do on an F-150, drop a comment. If I can do it, I'll do it. Anyways, guys, have a great week. Okay, bye!